Hi, guys. I'm coming to you today to talk to you just a little bit about Sky Dancer from my very sunny spot in my office with the windows open, and it feels so good to get some fresh air. And of course, whenever the sun's out, it always kind of affects the camera quality. So I hope you don't mind just kind of listening to me talk a little bit about Sky Dancer and what it means to me. So Sky Dancer was a program that I put together a few years ago, and it really married my experience and background with Ayurvedic as an Ayurvedic practitioner um, with my work as an astrologer. And in back in January, I got sick with COVID, and I heard a very strong no to reopening Sky Dancer because it would have normally reopened then because the beginning of the Capricorn cycle started then. And since then, I've had a whole series of, I guess, kind of downloads come in about Sky Dancer. And I also lost my son in that time. And so I've really been listening to Venus and whether or not, now is the time to open Sky Dancer. And I'm hearing a very strong yes. And I want to say that, you know, we have really just come out of such a collective underworld experience these past 3 years. This all began at the beginning of 2020, the pandemic. And that was the last time I was holding a Sky Dancer program. And we've been in this collective underworld space for like the last 3 years. And my belief is it's time. It's time now to stand up. And so this is the perfect leg of the Venus journey to hold a Sky Dancer program because she's just herself coming out of the underworld. And on this side of her cycle, the evening star side, this is the side of resurrection. And so I think it's really going to be a beautiful 9-month journey of working with the Venus cycle, what she asks of us at each gateway, and learning how to travel with her. Because once we learn how to live in concert with the Venus cycle, it becomes its own spiritual path. And the reason I'm really feeling so strongly called to open registration for this is because in my own seeing where the world is at, and my own having just moved through this tragedy, and my own desire to be part of a collective solution, I guess you could call it my own activism, is that I believe so strongly. I guess maybe it comes from being an astrologer, but also in my own background as being an adoptee and having my own beginnings steeped in such mystery. And having really lived this work my entire life, like probing the mystery of incarnation. Why are we here? For me, it was like, why did my life start in such a radically different way than other people's lives? And having that sense of otherness, it really gave me a chance to like look at like the matrix and all of the collective soup that we're just marinating in from a slightly different perspective. And what I see, what I know, like my own real wisdom and knowing is that every single person who has a soul has a mission, purpose, and intention for their lives. And I see in the collective, especially with how we were hooked with the narratives of the last 3 years, that the kind of collective egregore meaning the way archetypal narratives can become so high intensity, they can really unhook us from fully embodying our own soul. And we become kind of possessed by what is happening in the collective, by thought forms. And so I'm really seeing, and especially with young people who aren't fully seated in their soul, who are really divorced from their mission, purpose, and intention in this life. And when we aren't fully embodied and fully sitting in the seat of our own soul, really connected to the mystery of our own incarnation and engaging with that, doesn't mean we'll always know what it is, but there's this way that if we're at least engaged and in relationship with the mystery, it doesn't allow any interference to come in. We can't get hijacked or infiltrated by narratives or agendas that aren't ours, that aren't unique to our souls. And so it's become a real passion of mine. And the thing that's sort of threaded through all of my work is working with people to really come back into that sense of sovereignty and relationship to the mystery of their own incarnation, and to be doing deep soul work. And, there's no way that the star story, so like what's going on in the sky, is divorced from what's happening here. It's just impossible. And so, Venus herself is a planet of embodiment and sensory experience and somatics, and how wisdom arises within the body, and how that helps keep us really connected and engaged with our soul. And so that's essentially what Skydancer's mission is. It is to, on one hand, it's an astrology journey and understanding the mechanics and the template of the Venus cycle so that we can live in alignment and in resonance with her energy. Because once we are in coherence with Venus, doing the work actually becomes so much easier. And then it's using the gateways that she travels throughout her cycle. She travels through a chakra gateway literally every month. And so beginning at the end of December, we'll be moving into the root chakra, and that'll be the beginning of our journey. We'll do some foundational work before that, but just to talk about the mechanics of what Skydancer is, we'll move into the root chakra, and then we'll begin doing root chakra work. So as well as understanding the astrology and the mechanics and the history and the lineage of the goddess, and really getting grounded in what the feminine is, we'll also be doing really deep embodiment work with our chakras that really aligns above and below. And then what I also think is an axiom that aligns above and below is the idea that our bodies are a mini universe, right? Like the macrocosm and the microcosm, and our body is the microcosm of the universe, and that the mind is the above, and our body, like sitting down into the root of our body, is the below. And so marrying the above and the below inside our body is also an essential part of the Skydancer journey. And so really the hope and the intention is that we come out of this journey, and everything that is not true, everything that is not self currently, because this journey spirals. And so we're always picking up stuff that isn't ours and needing to set it back down again, or playing with things that are not true so that we can figure out what is true. But the intention is really to come into relationship with self, so that we're really aware of what is not self, what is not serving, what is not true. And we can do that through moving through Venus's gateways. And so I am so excited to invite you guys to join Skydancer. The application is now up on the website, on the webpage, which I will include in the email here. And I'm considering, depending on how many applications and how much interest we get, if people are really still a little wanting to know more of the journey, I'm considering holding an open house. However, I really, really would prefer to not feed the mind with a bunch of information, but rather have you guys feel into whether or not this feels aligned for you, And if it feels aligned, to have you say yes. I went over quite a bit of the mechanics when I held the Underworld portal, or the Underworld transmission on October 22nd at Venus's conjunction with the sun. And so I can leave a link for that in the email as well. So if you want to know more about the mechanics or the mythology of the template of Venus's cycle, that is available. And of course, in the portal on my website, there is a ton of free videos. But none of the videos are the journey. The videos are the about the journey. They are the things that feed the mind. They're mind food. And so if you really want to do the actual work, get on the practice mat, and learn, not even learn, embody Venus yourself, become a Venusian priestess. You'll come into Sky Dancer and we'll do the work together in sisterhood. So very excited. And I can't wait for us to get started together. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.